In this video, I'm going to be reviewing the Lamy Persona Fountain Pen. I'll go over the specs, I'll do a writing sample, and I'll tell you what I like and don't like about this pen coming up. Blake here with Blake's Broadcast. On this channel, I review fountain pens, paper, and ink, and as always, I put links in the show notes in the description below. And if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button, it really helps out my channel. Alright, let's get on with the review. So this is the Lamy Imporium fountain pen, and this is an extremely similar pen to the Lamy Imporium. The Persona is the predecessor to the Lamy Imporium, and these two pens were both Lamy's flagship. The Imporium still is Lamy's flagship. They are extremely similar, both designed by the Italian architect Mario Bellini. And as I walk through the pen, I'll point out some of the differences. I don't have a Lamy Imporium. I have not purchased one yet. This Lamy Persona is a pen that I've kind of wanted for quite a long time, and I saw one on eBay for a reasonable price, and I went for it. So let's walk through the pen. Now, in terms of the design here, the most distinctive feature to me is this lip, and well, just the cap in general. It is a smooth, like titanium finished metal cap. And you have this big, unusual, like, indentation for the clip. There's like a dimple or a divot here in the shape of a hole, and then also in, for the length of the clip. It's really cool looking. And then you'll notice that on the clip, which says Lamy and is gold plated, we have these ridges on the top portion here, and we have a kind of like little roll stopper dimple. But the way that the clip works, if you look at the side, you can see it's almost flush with the cap, is you push on those ridges there, and there's a spring, and it comes up. It's pretty cool looking, definitely the most distinctive part of this pen. And on the Lamy Imporium, they got rid of this. I have a feeling that this is a more expensive clip and cap situation, and they got rid of it. Maybe it was unreliable. I don't know. Mine has been fine, and it feels really well made. You'll also notice at the bottom here, there are little teeth on the end. You're definitely getting a good grip. This isn't really something that I use. I tend not to clip my pens, especially not ones with a finish like this, which I think is slightly fragile. Mine, I bought new old stock, so it's in really good condition, but if you look at used ones, this material definitely gets marked up. Now, in terms of the overall cap shape, there is a taper towards the bottom of the cap, so it is more kind of bulbous up at the top. It's a really cool detail. They also did this in, I believe, a black finish and maybe one other finish. I'm blanking on that right now. It's very similar lineup to the current Imporium. The barrel is fluted just like on the Imporium, and at the bottom we have a gold ring. It's just, yeah, a pretty nice, simple design here. I would definitely consider this somewhat minimalistic in design, or maybe minimalistic isn't the right word. This is a very modern looking pen, like most Lamy pens out there. Now, there's very few threads on the cap here. It's like, let's see how many turns it is to take the cap off. It's about a quarter turn to remove the cap. And this small amount of threading is now, it's been replaced by more threading on the Imporium. And I have read, but again, I have not used an Imporium, that the new threading has problems with cross threading. I can't confirm that from experience, but I have read that. Now we have this sort of ribbed grip section, which is really nice. Very similar again to the Imporium. Now the nib is the other, I would say, big difference. So this has the older style nib, which is sort of wraps around the feed. This was the same nib that we saw on the Lamy Lady, which I'll post a link to that review up in the corner. Now, compared to the current gold, what I'm going to call like safari type nibs, these nibs are firmer. They are very smooth. Now, this is a Lamy accent, but On this, I have the Lamy Imporium nib in an oblique broad, just so you can see the difference. The great thing about the Emporium nibs and, Lamy Safari type nibs in general is that they are all interchangeable. So this is really easy to remove and replace, and you can buy these Emporium nibs separately. I do sell them at thepapermind.com, and again, for Blake's Broadcast viewers and subscribers, you do get 10% off with code BB10 at checkout. So if you have a pen that takes a Safari type nib like this Lamy Accent, you can put the modern Emporium nib on the pen. In terms of the way that they write, this one is an oblique medium, and this is an oblique broad. These 14 karat gold Safari type nibs, this Emporium nib here, sorry, not trying to confuse you with the different names, but the Safari type nibs, these ones are significantly softer than the old style 14 karat gold nib. In my opinion, I much prefer the way that these write. This is a really nice, smooth writing nib. I don't really have any complaints about the performance. I think these Safari type gold nibs are really underrated. These are some of my favorite writing nibs. That said, I do think that the design of this nib is pretty cool looking, definitely more unique. Now, it takes a Lamy cartridge and converter, and this is an interesting one because this is the older style converter, and it's actually threaded, which none of the new Lamy converters are. And if we get in pretty close here, we can see that it says Lamy and it says West Germany. So that just gives you an idea that this is quite a bit of an older pen. But overall, I really like the look of this pen. Let's do some measurements. About 145 capped, uncapped, looking at about 122, 123. Now, I don't post this pen. We can see if it will. It does. Oh, and it clicks. Hey, look at that. All right, maybe I do post this pen now. So it snaps into place, which is nice. Holy, it's quite long though. 167, 168 long. Pretty top heavy. I don't know. I'm gonna try writing with this. I didn't really know that it snapped into place like that. That's pretty cool. I would still be a little careful about that, just in case it does mark up the finish. Oh, and then let's do the grip section here. So it really tapers down, so I'm going to go to like the kind of the bottom ring there, 11. That's really wide, and then towards the 8.7. It's a pretty good sized grip section. It's not slippery because of the ridges, which is really nice. Yeah, this is a comfortable pen. I haven't been using it posted. I didn't actually know that it snaps into place, which is cool. So I can't comment on how it is posted. To me it feels like it might be a little bit top heavy, but I will have to report back after I try writing with it, post it a bit more. So 31.82 grams uncapped, and capped 45 grams. So pretty hefty pen. It's certainly made out of metal. One thing I will note, I have rolled this pen across the desk. So this little roll stopper, it works a little bit, but I would say it's not as good as, a clip that's more, extended like that, because I have accidentally brushed it and it kind of rolled across the desk, which wouldn't necessarily happen with a clip that kind of sticks out and there's just more surface area there to grip. Anyway, let's do the writing sample. For the writing sample, I'm going to be using a Papermind Mitsubishi bank paper notebook. These notebooks are really excellent with fountain pens, and for Blake's Broadcast viewers and subscribers, you can get 10% off with code BB10 at checkout. Okie dokie. So this is the Lamy Persona, and this is a oblique medium, and this is Shin-Ryoku. Not sure if that's how you spell it, but there we go. Fast writing. No issues. You know, this is a really nice writing pen. There's really no line variation that you get out of this being an oblique medium, even though there is a little, angle to the nib a bit. Isn't an amazing drawing? Anyway, we could try reverse writing. It kind of does it, I don't know, with an oblique. Really not the best idea, but it's actually not that bad. I actually see more line variation doing it this way than going this way. Interesting. It seems like it can do that. I wouldn't recommend that on an oblique medium just because you might be putting too much pressure on the taller tine there. Now, in terms of flexibility, not really, it's a nail. So if you like a more flexible nib, I would probably just go for the Imporium or any of the other Lamy pens other than the Lamy 2000 that have a solid gold nib, just because those are quite soft, whereas this is, there's some springiness to it, but it's definitely nothing like the other Safari type gold nibs. So what are my pros and cons for the Lamy Persona Fountain Pen? Well, I really like the design of this pen. It has a very modern appearance to it, but it's also very premium feeling. So I like that combination quite a lot. I really like the design of this clip. I think this is really quite cool. It's a really nice writer. I'm a big fan of Lamy gold nibs. I think they're really nice and honestly quite underrated. In terms of cons, the finish on the cap I think is relatively easy to mark up, at least from when I was shopping for one, I saw a lot with marks on the cap. So you do have to be kind of careful with the finish of it. There's a little dot on here as a roll stopper. I've been able to kind of roll this pen across the desk, so it's not quite as effective as a normal clip. So you do have to be maybe a little bit more careful about where you place it. I find that kind of annoying. Other downside, of course, is that it's discontinued. So you have to buy one used, and they're not that cheap. Around $200 to $300 is where I typically see them. But that's pretty much it. Do you guys have this pen? Do you like this pen? Let me know in the comment section below. And if you like this video, please hit that like button. And if you want to see more fountain pen, paper, and ink videos, please hit that subscribe button. Thank you so much, and until next time.